and welcome to the conference where we're going to talk about how you can improve your LinkedIn and how you can become a rock star on LinkedIn. Because people buy people on LinkedIn, they don't buy companies. So it's all about you. It's all about your personal brand. Because this is what LinkedIn looks like. It's over 1 billion members all around the world, mostly English-speaking countries, as you can probably see, with places like America, India, the fastest growing country in the world, which you will all know because you will all have had 10 messages today from anyone in India. And also, obviously, Singapore there is a big 4 million. It's about massive, so Australia, but also across the countries in places like Latin America, Africa, for example, Central Europe, and also the rest of Asia. Because India basically is behind America, and then we have places like Brazil, UK, France, and the biggest country in Asia, because China is no longer really on LinkedIn, is Indonesia with 32 million users outside of India. And this is how the penetration, I love the penetration here, because you will notice that the Cayman Islands has 115% of people there on LinkedIn. Yes, just think about that for a moment. There are 15% more people on LinkedIn in the Cayman Islands that live in the Cayman Islands. But it's very big in places like Singapore, UAE, obviously the US, where it originated, Netherlands, Ireland, and so forth. So it's really across the entire world, so absolutely massive. And it's mostly, unfortunately, male. That we need more women to basically be posting and to be engaging on LinkedIn. But it's 60% effectively on LinkedIn are men. Only 16% are active on a daily basis, though. 16%. Only a third are active on a monthly basis. This means that basically only 300 million of those 1.1 billion spend any time on LinkedIn at all. Now, of the people who spend it the most, bizarrely, Austria. Austria is the number one in the world with an hour and a half, and then Pakistan, New Zealand. The average in the world is 48 minutes. That's a month. Now, you compare that with something like WeChat, or basically WhatsApp, or Telegram, or TikTok, or YouTube, and basically they are hours and hours a day. But on LinkedIn, because it is about business, it's basically 48 minutes. That means you have to really think hard about a sophisticated marketing campaign to target the users as and when they're on LinkedIn. Because 80% of users as well are using the mobile on LinkedIn. So you've really got to be thinking about what your content and what your messaging looks like on the mobile, not the laptop. It's really, really important because it's very easy to say people are using the laptops for LinkedIn, but they're not. They're using the mobile. So LinkedIn is the number one most trusted social media platform as well in the world, because obviously all the other platforms are not really trusted. A lot of the content's not verified. But what do they define trust as? Trust is very much where users have confidence to actually share content and actually protect information, provide a safe environment to engage with other people. Now, you can't do that on places like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even places like YouTube, for example. But also, LinkedIn's like the godfather. It's all about who you know and not just what you know. It's also a gamification platform, which means that the more you do on LinkedIn, the more they reward you. It's also basically a self-promotion platform. I would not normally quote James Blunt, obviously in a Metallica concert ticket, t-shirts, but he's right when he talks about this. I'm self-deprecating because I'm British. If I was American, I would tell you how great I am. And that's what Americans are fantastic are, telling you how great they are. And that's what we've all got to outdo the Americans on the self-promotion side of things. Because self-promotion on LinkedIn is a necessary evil. You can either do it and win clients or not, and the Americans will instead. Because if you Google yourself, number 1, number 2, number 3, you can control with your own website, your company website, but also LinkedIn. Because Google trusts LinkedIn. Google doesn't trust Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which is why they're never on the front page. But they are on the front page for LinkedIn. So the first impressions are key to your personal branding. You are in control. You are determining what people actually see on LinkedIn. So what is social selling then, and why does it apply to you? Well, it applies to you because it's all about developing relationships like this, both internally and externally. It's about sharing relevant content too. It's about interacting with buyers. It's about also personal branding as well. It's also about social listening. So you market yourself and your company through content and your personal profile, not your company profile on LinkedIn. So 5 top tips. The first tip of 5 is all about your personal brand, your cover photograph, your banner on LinkedIn. So if I show you the Joker, you're going to basically have instant values in terms of what he means to you. Is that the disruption? Is that the chaos? Is that the fantastic makeup and the natty dress sense? You have an impression. That's the first thing that people see. And it's the same with your LinkedIn profile. So if I showed you our Prime Minister, back in Lawrence Wong, he's showing a very untypical scene of 5 kids in a playground. Now, this is obviously completely wrong because those 5 kids are putting on a mobile phone somewhere indoors in air conditioning. But you get the point of what he's trying to do here. And the same with our president, who decided to have some kind of walk in the wildlife. So this is about his personal brand values. It's about what he does. You can now have 5 banners on Premium as well. So you can really make it work for you. So, for example, I have my company branding on there. I also have the fact that I'm LinkedIn's most recommended marketing service, and also the fact that I am the only CEO with a mohawk, and also most recommended coaching service, and indeed keynote speaker. So you can really make it work for you. You can use the banners creatively to market 5 different aspects of your brand. So, for example, you can wish people a happy National Day. So for Singapore, it's Majula Singapura. Or you can basically why people should use your services, or even basically convey your brand passions. Unfortunately, I'm a Newcastle fan, and we lost last night. I was up at 2 a.m. watching us lose spectacularly, as we do. But also, obviously, Metallica fans. This is all part of your personal brand, which you can use on LinkedIn to tell people simply what you do. You can also do other things, but don't do things like this. Because as much as Maxwell would love to be George Clooney, he's not. So he's not allowed to use his photograph. You have to be authentic on LinkedIn. Look at Junhan here. He basically got very drunk last night, dressed as a panda, and then basically decided to take a picture of it. And someone said, put this on LinkedIn. That's not a very good idea, Junhan. Which one's Melita? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Don't know. Use 1 photograph on LinkedIn, not 3. And don't do things like wishing people Merry Christmas when it's not December. It's not really a very good look. Don't use couples. Don't do wedding pictures. You can't even see that on the mobile. And unless your business is, of course, a family business, like Sean, you, of course, can do that. Or if it's like Randy, I kid you not, that's a fantastic name for basically a men's relationship rescue service. He helps separated husbands reconnect with their wives, even if she says they're done. That's a very specific promise he's offering there. Now, you want to decide on 1 photograph, not 6, because you can't see any of them on LinkedIn, and you can't see it on the mobile. You also can't be saying about winning awards back in 2014 and 2015. It's like going to a Michelin star restaurant that won something 10 years ago and hasn't won anything since because the chef left. You don't really want to be promoting that. This guy wins the prize with the most pictures of himself on a banner. And they're not even different pictures. They're based the same picture. At least this guy tried to basically put different pictures on the same banner. But don't do this. Elizabeth here went for the full Tinder look. Not really a great idea for LinkedIn, especially when you're the human resources manager in charge of things like, sexual harassment and that kind of thing for a small company called the Hyatt Hotels Group. Not a great idea. Also, don't do this for obvious reasons. Don't be invisible. Not a great idea. Don't put newspapers on your banner because newspapers... Don't do things like dogs. Dogs don't really work on LinkedIn either. And make sure everyone can see your photograph. A lot of people do this. A lot of people actually have this, but because they're a second connection, I don't see it. And they've only got it clicked before the first connections. So you want to make sure you can see it. Also, once you've uploaded your banner, make sure every person can see it. Not like this. Because headless people don't really work very well on LinkedIn. You don't think that Philly would have just had a look at this and going, there's something wrong with this banner. But apparently it's catching on. I mean, like 2 people here, both headless. This guy's on the Titanic, he's going down somewhere. This guy basically, so you've got to watch when you're putting words on the banners as well, because the banners and the words, your photograph takes over that part. So you can end up like this. Content marketing is like the first date. If you out yourself, there won't be a second one. Just think about that for a second. Or things like this, the future of work is now. One look at the banner and you can see what's wrong here. It's unprofessional. Don't wait for opportunity, whatever that means. It looks different on the mobile as well. So if your photo doubles in size and moves to the right-hand side on the mobile, otherwise this can happen. So Doosan here, fantastic, looks really good on the mobile, on the laptop, but on the mobile, it looks like this. So then it looks very unprofessional, and that's why 80% of people are actually looking at this. So check it and don't do things like this. We are the 1% oiness, or Ink, Create, Deliver, or Und Films. And this guy even said to me, I have someone managing my LinkedIn profile. And I said, sack him immediately, because as you can see, the photograph takes over the branding, which looks really unprofessional. Now, if you're a keynote speaker, don't do this. Do this instead. We liked busy rooms, packed rooms, not empty ones, because that just means he's not a very good keynote speaker, and the one person is leaving. It's not a great idea. Never, ever do this. So unless you work at a tourism board, don't do this. Now, we got many clients in Switzerland, and people in Switzerland are obsessed by their mountains, but they're not selling mountains. They're normally selling financial services. So this is all basically about where they live, not actually about their personal brand or their company. But in Singapore, we also have a mountain. It's called Marina Bay Sands. So Singapore Tourism Board and Marina Bay Sands thank all these people very much for marketing their casino. Sorry, integrated resort, we're supposed to call it. Now, top 2 of 5, your personal brand positioning statement. So everyone knows Nike, just do it, or Apple, think different. Well, Karen here, she is the GPS girl. She is on 3 billion devices going recalculating, recalculating, recalculating. So she's called herself the GPS girl. So you've got to think about what's your USP. What are you going to put on your headline? So I am the only CEO with a mohawk, so I use that. And then you can actually change your URL on LinkedIn to match it. This helps in terms of search, both on LinkedIn and on Google. Now you can use all 4 lines, which is 220 characters for organic search on your LinkedIn. Each of these you can change on a regular basis and you can test it. Every word you use is very much searchable. Now, you might want to catch automation messages, because a lot of people on LinkedIn use automation. So you can catch them by putting words or symbols in the first line. So, for example, Joseph here has got a pint of beer. So when they do automation, it says, Dear Beer. And then Kashiv here has a cup of coffee. So when you do automation, it says, Hello, coffee. Not a great idea. Never use automation. Never put your X on either. A lot of people are obsessed with saying they used to work at a good company, but they don't anymore. Look at this guy here, ex-Apple, ex-HBO, ex-Motorola. So he used to work at a good company and doesn't anymore. Especially when they're not even very good firms. I don't like Grab, so this guy, ex-Grab, ex-Lazada. This guy has the most I've ever seen, though. Literally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 X's. That just means he can't keep a job. That is nothing to be proud about, and you should not be putting that on your LinkedIn profile. But this guy really couldn't let it go. He used to work at BCG, because his banner still says that, so he's putting ex-BCG there. Not a good idea. Move on, move on. But the ex-Googlers are the worst. There are thousands of people on LinkedIn who have ex-Google. I.e., all these people used to work for a good company, but they don't anymore. Like this guy here, desperately clinging on to where they used to work. I used to work for Google. Now, your headline follows you everywhere. So when you post, it comes up. When you comment, it comes up. When you search, it comes up. When your people also viewed, it comes up. Recommendations, it comes up. It's marketing you time after time after time. So really think what your headline can be, what those 220 characters should be. Challenge people, for example. The coolest guy in Nashville. Google it to see for yourself. So we did. And he is. He's the coolest guy in Nashville. I don't know what kind of claim that is, though. Nashville's not a very cool place. Make specific promises. I help female accountants to win, not male, just female accountants, to win their ideal job in little than 3 months, even with a $15,000 pay rise. That's a very specific promise. But that's brilliant. You know what she can do for you. I help school hire teachers without jobs or recruitment. Again, you know specifically what she can do for you. I build sales funnels. This is the sales funnel guy. That's what he does. So focus on that. Be cheeky. Flipping impossible problems on their heads, and he's upside down. Very cool. Insert your company name here. Very cool. Put your professional accreditations in. But this might be going too far. I think the entire alphabet is in this one. And not everyone's going to be impressed either. Insert many letters here. Now, if you're hiring, make sure you know the people you're hiring. We are hiring. If you're looking for a job, tell people you're looking for a job. Looking for opportunities. Not too desperately, still looking. They're definitely not like this one either. Is anyone hiring? I need a job. This just comes across as far too desperate. But this is the worst one. Constantly screwed and told to jump through endless hoops for fun with a smile. I get you. You consider me subhuman. I hate you too. She's not really marketing herself to her best abilities here, is she? I don't know who's going to employ her, but it wouldn't be anybody sane. Now, you want to keep all your options open as well. This guy went CIO, CTO, CISO, CDO, COO. Why not? Anything. Don't do things like this. It's not Tinder. Don't be putting up that you're a lonely and young girl up there. All these emojis, this is not Facebook. Human being. Albert felt the need to put human being on there just in case we thought he was a robot. Executive demigod. See the Americans with their self-motion, Shelley Shower, wife of Stephen Shower. Why would you do this? Particularly as Stephen did not reciprocate. He should really have husband of Shelley Shower, should he not? Just like Dale has here, spouse of owner of a dodgy restaurant in Hong Kong. Lecturer at retired, enjoying time with the family. Does he look like he's enjoying time with the family? Or would he rather be back at work? I think he'd rather be back at work. Right, third tip of 5, complete your profile. Most people have only 10% complete. Add your website or your LinkedIn Smart Link to the top part. This part here, you go to edit, you do premium custom button, and then you have a choice. I use View My Portfolio, but you can have, for example, view my store, my website, my blog, appointment, newsletter, services. Entirely up to you. But you want to use it as a call to action to create awareness for your business. So it appears here, but it also appears on every single post you do at the top. So I use my Smart Links, which is linked to a Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, to make sure I get tracking information when you click on it. It also appears in every single search, right there. So you can add your services as well. Many people, I don't think anybody in this room has got their services section sorted out. You just go to the Add Profile section and add your services and put your services in there. And then you can make them stand out on LinkedIn, on services, on search, and you add medium, which makes them stand out again. Some people are much more likely to click on it if it's a visual and a media. You can activate your featured section. So again, you go to add your sections onto recommended, add your featured section and use it for content. So it looks something like this, and it stands out. Make sure that you're using content effectively, because it basically highlights your latest content. Because effectively, you are all publishers of your own daily newspaper online. You are the editor, so you pick and choose what you want to use. On the mobile, it's one picture, and then you scan through it. Don't be anonymous like this. Edit your profile details too. Decide on whether you wish to show your education or not, for example. This little box here, you can tick it on or you can tick it off. So if you went to someone like Stanford, for example, like this guy, very proud of it, you put that on your LinkedIn. I didn't. So I've taken mine off because I went to a crappy university in Newcastle. You want to add your about section as well. Tell your story. Don't repeat where you work. You've got 2,000 characters to do so. Now, normally, people only read the first 3 lines. So you've got to make sure the first 3 lines are the most important. If people want to read the rest of it, that's cool as well. You want to add 5 skills to that because it comes up in search. You also add experience from your firm's description for brand consistency. So you then basically add that into your experience, and it comes up there. You also add skills in there, because again, it comes up in search, down here. Now, don't put down experience with no company page. The company page should not look like this. It shouldn't be blurred out or blue box, for example. It should be a proper logo. Don't post on your company page because no one cares about it. People buy people on LinkedIn, they don't buy companies. People engage with people on LinkedIn, not companies. So you also want to activate your newsletter. So I have 5. All of you can have newsletters, and you can send them out about legal issues, for example. So I have one about becoming a LinkedIn rockstar. I have one about being an entrepreneur. I have one about Singapore life. I have one about metal, and I have one about my football team. So you reorganize your activity section so it stands out. And that way, more people will subscribe, more people will actually say they're looking at your content. So most importantly, add recommendations. Because recommendations are social proof that people can check and actually ask how good your service is, how good you are. And it's great for headhunting, it's great for winning more clients. But if you don't ask, you won't get them. So you do have to ask and make sure you have a strategy around it. So the 4th tip of 5, create a content marketing plan. So remember this, 1-9-90. 1% of people on LinkedIn create, only 1%. So if you create original content, not reposted content, original content, you will instantly become a thought leader, and LinkedIn will instantly promote you because it's 1%. 9% like, share, and comment or repost. 90% do nothing but view, which is why you can end up with tens of thousands of views and only a few comments and likes. LinkedIn likes authentic content directly posted, not reposted, and not reposted content from your company page. So according to our analysis of 13 years, we've been doing this for black marketing, this is the order of your posts going viral. If you do a curated local content post with a strong personal opinion, that will make sure that it connects with the local audience where LinkedIn shares your content and actually go viral. So for example, this happened the other day in Singapore. There was a cosplay going on, and for some reason this guy decided to dress as a blind Nazi. Not any Nazi, a blind Nazi. No idea why, but it caused lots of engagement because everyone got a bit of fun with it. Why is he dressed as a Nazi? Why is he dressed as a blind Nazi? Why has he got Crocs on? You know, the Nazis weren't really famous for their Crocs. So that it causes engagement. Or this one, I put this in because you're legal. This is Ong Beng Seng playing the I've Got Cancer card and getting out of jail. The fact he just went around the world 17 times, it was absolutely fine. But he obviously played the card very well. I'm sick, I'm poor. Well, not poor, obviously he's a billionaire. But, you know, he played that. So, again, if you create something like that, you create engagement, you then become a topic of information. If you do a video or a picture of you, and you have a personal story, that will resonate. So, for example, every time I take my wife anywhere, I take a picture of her because she's much prettier than I am, and I use that unashamedly to get my views up. Otherwise, I'm not going to get the same engagements. I was in Osaka. Food actually works on LinkedIn. People say, why are you sharing food pictures? Well, people are still interested in food because, funnily enough, they eat every day. It's like drinking. So if you share food, basically people will engage. Oh, I went to that restaurant. Oh, that restaurant's good. Oh, that restaurant's fantastic. Now, number 3, your business or company posts, nobody cares about them. They care about you. They don't care about what your company does. So when I do it, literally about 1,000th of what I get when I do a personal post. But every now and again, I have to remind people that I actually have a service and a business. I'm just not ranting and raving about Singapore all the time. So don't post on your company page, never repost from your company page either. LinkedIn will downgrade your post. They want original content. So if you do this, you get downgraded. If you do this, you get downgraded. And if you definitely do this, like you repost your own content, that's a sign of desperation. Otherwise, basically you will see this, which means that nobody has bothered to comment on the posts. So you want to create and post original content, do not copy other people's content. And don't use ChatGPT either, because we can all tell when you do. So basically look at Microsoft. Microsoft own LinkedIn. They've got 26 million followers, 200,000 employees, but some of their posts get literally 0 engagement. 2 likes. That's got 26 million followers. So if Microsoft, who own LinkedIn, can't get anybody to notice their own posts, you and I have got no chance. But if you go to Satya Nadella's posts, he is the CEO of LinkedIn. He gets phenomenal engagement. Comments, likes, so does Bill Gates. Because people buy people on LinkedIn, they don't buy companies. Follow the data, engage with people. So you market your company through your personal LinkedIn profile and your content, not your company page. So if you follow this strategy for maximum engagement, 4-1-1. One hard sell post. And you've got to be creative how you do this. So for example, whenever I get some Muppet basically messaging me and I can tell it's automation, I instantly take a screen grab and I take the mickey out of them. So this guy basically was completely wrong in how he did it. He said I was open to work. He said I told him, hadn't done any of those things. So I called him out. And other people chimed in. So it's engaging. And then one soft sell post about your industry, about the law industry, for example. So if I do something about branding or marketing, fits in quite nicely with personal branding, that's a soft sell post. But then you do 4 unrelated personal posts featuring you and your opinion. So for example, Singapore is very obsessed with vaping at the moment. So if you're caught vaping, you're basically, you get your pass cut up and kicked out the country. So that's an engaging, that's an interesting post. Singapore is also like queuing. And they like queuing at ridiculous times in the morning, 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m., nothing else better to do. And for things you wouldn't think they'd do. This is a toy show. This is for adults. This is for kids. But they're queuing, the adults are queuing. It always amuses me. But whenever I do a post about it, people always say, wow, you know, they're working because their mobiles are out. You know, the death penalty, it's always a contentious thing in Singapore. It's always if you want to get a good debate, you'll put a death penalty post up, and you always get the foreigners, basically, the expats saying, no, it's terrible. And all the locals going, yes, it's fantastic. So it creates amazing engagement. And anything I post about my wife always gets fantastic amount of engagement. So if my views are going down, I just put a post up about my wife, and it instantly go back up again. It's great. She doesn't mind. So personal posts will definitely outperform your company posts, like 100 to 1. Your personal post will drive engagement, and from that, you can actually sell to them. So 2 legal examples for content from Singapore, for example, who you may or may not know, are here. These guys are worth following. Stephanie, who's very polarizing and controversial. Some of you probably know her. Some of you are smiling already, going, yes, Stephanie. She hates men. Well, that's the impression I have on her posts anyway. You read it and you make your own decision up. But she's fantastic, and she has a wonderful business. Some of you are connected to her, for example. And then also, for example, Walter Sylvester. He is also worth following. He does amazing content about SMEs. And he gives practical advice, and it's really, really, really good. So basically follow him, and you can see how he does some really, really good content, gets some good engagement, some good advice as well, and he uses his featured section, like Stephanie does, to really market it quite heavily. So, tip 5, Sales Navigator Advanced. So if you really want to drive clients or employees or investors, you should be using Sales Navigator Advanced. You can create target lists. So if you want to find out anybody on LinkedIn, anywhere, you can find them. You basically create smart links to track engagement. So your decks, your services, your case studies, your legal arguments, your white papers, you can put all of these onto a smart link and then track engagement. And then you can actually see who viewed it. Every single time someone views my smart link, LinkedIn tells me they've viewed it. So I then follow up and say, well, you looked at this, can I help you? You then use scripts to target people. So you personalize it, but you script it, so it'd save you time. So for example, keep it simple. Thank you for viewing my profile. Please let me know if you'd be interested in using our services. Keep it really, really simple with a smart link. So a smart link is a call to action you can actually track. So then you create saved target lists, which give you new leads on a daily basis. So LinkedIn's fantastic like this. It's like your own CRM, but you don't need to buy the CRM. Right, my favorite bit of the show. Let's look at some of your profiles. Sebastian. So Sebastian, I did meet Sebastian, so he got a few tips ahead of this. So he's got a really good banner, corporate and commercial employment, immigration, data protection. He's also got the button there going to his website. No smart links though, I noticed. But you could be using the 5 banners, you only got 1. And your services are there, but you have no media in them. So basically, no media and no featured section updated as well. Also, Sebastian, keep reposting content. I know you love the Singaporean German Chamber of Commerce, but reposting their content doesn't help. But when you do a post, which is a month ago, you do get some really good engagement, 218 likes for this particular one, for example. So as you can see here, the banner doesn't really work because it doesn't really say what you do. So you could be using the 5 dynamic buttons. There's no website button. There's no call to action. There's no ease to actually help people understand your business. And also, as you can see here, there's no services and no featured section activated. Now, all these parts are free, apart from some of the premium ones. But the services and featured sections are free. You don't need to be premium to have these, so you all can do it. And I love the fact he uses dogs. Not many of him, but he uses his lovely dog, which is absolutely fantastic, playing around there. And this dog loves steak as well. Literally every week, I think he does a post about dogs, which is absolutely fantastic. But there's no recommendations, unfortunately. Obviously, you can see what Stuart did wrong here. He's got nothing on his banner. So a simple thing there, basically saying what you do. No website button, a lack of keywords as well there, Stuart. And also, no services, no featured section updated. But your last post was 10 months ago. Got a reasonable engagement, but try and do it more often than every 10 months. No recommendations at all. Stefan, lovely picture, but nothing to do with your business at all. So you shouldn't be using it. You could be using the 5 banners to really market your business. There's no website button, a lack of keywords. And there's also no services, no featured updated section too. And as you can see here, you keep reposting content and nobody cares. So there's no engagement. And you got 1 recommendation from 2013. No one recommended you for 12 years, Stefan. Now also Sharon here, I don't know what this is, but it has nothing to do with your business, doesn't really communicate your firm or what you do. There's no website button, a lack of keywords. And as you can see here, no services and no featured section updated. And also lots of reposts, as you can see, 6 months ago and 8 months ago. And also no recommendations. As you can see here too, banner not missing. And the banner is the easiest thing you can do here. You can use it to market yourself and your company. It's extremely simple to do. Use Canva, use Google Slides, use PowerPoint, whatever you need to do, copy and paste it, put it in, check your photograph doesn't overlook it, and there it is. There's no website button and a lack of keywords, no services, and an outdated featured section as well from this time last year, in this conference last year. So I expect to post today for this conference and then not until next year. Last one before that was 8 months, and again, no recommendations. Inga has a very interesting banner. I have no idea what it means. Neither does anybody else. So you shouldn't really be using that. You'd be using 5 banners where you can actually tell a story about what you actually do. No website button, a lack of keywords. And also the company page doesn't seem to exist, which is why it's kind of a grayed out box, which is always a red flag for someone. There's no services, no featured section too. And your last post was a massive 3 years ago. Nothing going on for 3 years. No recommendations either. Fabian, Sydney Tourist Boards, thanks you very much for marketing them, but no one knows you're a lawyer because you don't say on the banner. Huh? So it's your office, fantastic, brilliant. Well, the Opera House. The Opera House is your office. But, you don't actually say what you actually do. I mean, literally the bare minimum here in terms of it. So you could be using the 5 banners to say what you do, the branding, the company. There's no website button, so I can't find information out. A lack of keywords, no services, and an outdated service section. So on the featured, this is a lovely interview where you look about 20 years younger than you do now. And that's from 3 years ago. God, you've aged quite a lot, haven't you, Fabian? And then before that, 4 months, repost, repost. Don't repost your company page. Do original posts about your company. Don't repost them. And then you have recommendations, but the last one was 5 years ago. So no one's recommended you for 5 years, basically. Kyle has a fantastic banner, you'll be glad to know. There is somebody in this room with a banner. He actually says what they do, and they actually have branding up there, which is fantastic. But unfortunately, there's no website button, so I can't find out more information. And there's a lack of keywords as well to get found. And the About section talks about yourself in the third person, not the first person. And that's like me saying, Chris said this and Chris said that. It's not a great idea because it's a one-on-one communication. So really, should we say I, but not basically Kyle. So no services and featured section updated either. And then the last post was 2 months ago. Before that, 4 months. So basically, you do a post every 2 months. Ideally, we'll make it more weekly. And Ahmed, I love this, but it's wood. I have no idea why you've got wood on the back of your LinkedIn, but I'm trying to figure this out. Also, I've got no idea who this bloke is. I know who this bloke is because he's there, but I have no idea who that bloke is. Is he supposed to be sitting next to you and he didn't turn up or something? So I don't know why. I think you should change that because obviously wood. You could be using the 5 dynamic banners. There's no website button and also a lack of keywords. And when you come down here, there's a lack of services and featured section. And these are really, really good, but they should be the newsletter format, not the post format, because they're really long. So newsletter, you get people subscribing and they really want to hear it, want to see it. You do have the most recommendations of this entire room. So you have really got it, and they're up to date as well, 2025. Grace, as you can see here, no banner, no website button, lack of keywords, also no services, no featured section, and also lots of reposting, so no engagement. And also no recommendation. Hans Peter, it's really, really nice banner, although on the mobile, you kind of squeeze it up, so it's better to have it on the right-hand side, and also have 5 banners where you actually talk about the brand values, what your company actually does. You could be using the 5 dynamic banners, also no website button, lack of keywords, and also no services, no featured section, and you keep reposting content, and therefore get no engagement as a result of it. No recommendations as well. Same with Carlson. The banner could be used effectively to market Carlson and his company. Could be used in dynamic banners, no website button, lack of keywords, no services, and no featured section. All these are very simple to fix. Literally take you an hour and a half, and suddenly you become in the top 10% on LinkedIn. As you can see here, reposted contents and no engagement. But you just have some recommendations from 2024, so relatively updated. So in summary, personal branding is key to your success on LinkedIn and your career. Use content marketing to market yourself and your company. Use company marketing through your profile. You do social selling through content and your personal brand on LinkedIn. Because people buy people on LinkedIn, they don't buy companies. So for more tips, you can read my 4 best-selling books on LinkedIn, how to do personal branding and social selling, which you can basically listen to or read on Spotify, or Amazon, Audible, or Kindle, or Apple Music. So if you'd like more help, we do have 3 specific services: the Ultimate LinkedIn Marketing and Personal Branding Service, my coaching service, and this, which is a Masterclass service. If you enjoyed my keynotes, please do recommend me. I will not be shy at asking you to. And you do that by going to my profile, go to more, go to recommend, and say lots of nice things about me. Because if you don't say nice things, I'm not going to publish it. Thank you very much for listening.